article. I can't remember when it came out, but reporting that in the months, I want to say in July of 2001, that French intelligence who were tracking bin Laden had reportedly witnessed bin Laden meeting with a CIA, uh, someone at least, tangentially connected to the CIA at a hospital in Dubai. Um, I think The Guardian later wrote an article on that too.
Could be. Remember, Le Monde, though, is a very French rightist publication that's very tied in with the Israelis as well. So that's kind of important.
Yes, but they're also very, let's say, very French. That means they really have the French interest in mind. That would speak actually.
I don't know.
Charles, I think
Ehud Barak did a really nice job kind of telling us exactly how things were going to go a couple hours after everything went down on the BBC.
Yeah, that was a crazy video. Do you have that video? Show that shit to people.
Yeah, and Jeremy can do a really good impression of Ehud Barak.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of BBC, you're mispronouncing Brits incorrectly.
Oh, fuck. My computer attacked me.
Oh my God, Charles, are you okay?
Right.
Is it the Israelis?
No, it's just me being clumsy and not having my glasses on.
Space laser.
Wasn't it on?
By the way, it's just me just walking right into the wall because I'm excited about this topic and I'm pacing.
Damn it, Chisriel, get off the Chuck. We're coming.
Did you have any open containers?
No, I don't have any open containers in my home. I'm not drinking.
Oh,
I
it's the Brits.
had two LaCroix. I had two LaCroix earlier. Though, I am having cigarettes a lot more lately. Just FYI. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is.
I had one earlier for the first time in a while. Just one. It is sort of fun.
You know what I do whenever I'm really upset about something? I go to the store and I look at all the cigarettes and I walk out and then I come back in and then I buy all the ones I wanted to buy. And then, the other day I spent like maybe $300 on cigarettes. And you know what? It's pretty great.
Speaking of cigarettes,
no, I decided it's been a few years since I smoked regularly, so I just went through and had a list of various cigarettes that I wanted to try, and just went.
What's your brand? What's your go-to brand?
You must have bought a lot for $300.
It's obviously American Spirit.
Yeah, very good.
Charles, were you a big chew guy during your baseball days?
A second here,
I want to know which color American Spirit. Too.
Go ahead, Kaiser.
Charles, when America was still cool, actually really cool, when Marlboro had these advertisements in the cinema with the cowboys, they were awesome.
Yes. And the Western landscape.
Was it just in the cinema?
It was like you had these.
I was seeing this woman. I was seeing this woman who was like, when I was 30, I was seeing her and she lied to me about her age. Said she was 25, but I discovered later she was 19, and which is a whole separate subject for another time. But she was. It's legal, but it made me very angry to discover that. And then anyway, so I remember when she had a jewel on her, and we were like, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and I threw it away because it just disgusted me so much. And she got all angry with me, and we had a big fight over it. And I was like, if you're gonna like have sex with me, and you're gonna be with me, and you're gonna be like, ingesting tobacco products, you're gonna smoke real cigarettes, like a real person. And so she was like, oh, I don't know. And we had like a big fight about it. But I believe that basically like smoking is probably good for you on some level, unless you have a genetic predisposition to cancer or to heart disease or whatever. But I actually think like a major reason a lot of Americans who are smokers die is they just eat shittily. They don't get enough exercise. They don't do.
They drink.
They drink. Like there's a lot of people around the world that smoke very regularly. And they seem to live like a lot longer than we do because they have like families and I don't know.
I do think chewing is a much safer and pleasurable way to enjoy your tobacco products, though. I know some people find it a tad gross.
My father and I used to smoke pipes together. Like I would go over to his place and he had a pipe and I had a pipe, and we would smoke pipes and talk about the news or whatever. And that was pretty great. And I'll occasionally have a cigar, but I can never really finish more than one. I have like a cigar maybe once every 6 months or so.
Now that I'm a family man, I basically revert to what I call dad blunts, where it's a little bit of nicotine gum in one pouch and then some edible in the other pouch. That's how I like to do it. Dad blunts.
Fucking hilarious.
I don't have any. I'm not really a big fan of the marijuana world. I find all that stuff kind of gross. But I am a big fan of like just sitting there having a pipe, lighting a pipe on your porch or whatever, and just thinking about the day's news when you have a pipe going, and wearing a nice thick hat. Yeah, I'm into all that. That's some good stuff.
I've been having a cup of tea next.
There's nothing better
to you.
too than like when a woman is naked after you've had sex with her and she's having a cigarette at the window. There's nothing better than that, and then she gives you a kiss. Like that's one of the good ones.
I mean,
Cinematic. That's
Charles, you
cinematic.
sound very continental, which I mean, I avow this. I appreciate this.
I mean, it's very Turkish.
I would say
Kaiser.
it's very continental. It's like I could sit like because what you're describing, like I think what people I mean, look, cigarettes, yes, they are bad whatsoever, but
I think cigarettes in America are worse for you than they are.
I don't know
I think
about this
Europe
one,
has
but the
healthy
thing is,
cigarettes.
people, let's say, I could make an empirical study, and I would be proven correct that people who smoke are more sociable, they're more chilled, laid back. All the obnoxious,
Without
I mean,
question.
all the obnoxious people, the really the people you who are not really fun to be around, they're all these anti-smokers. I don't know, man.
I hate the holidays. So basically, from November 15th to about the day after Valentine's Day, that's typically when I do my smoking every year. And then I'll occasionally have a few cigarettes over the summer if there's a woman I'm seeing that's into it.
Why do you hate Uncle Chuck?
I hate the holidays because I think they're extremely contrived and bullshit, and I don't like the sun setting at like 3:00. And I find that it's
that is annoying.
It's a pretty miserable time, and you're supposed to fake being happy, and I find that really offensive and really annoying. So I don't like it.
It's probably mainly light seasonal affective disorder. But it is the case that like the modern world was built on caffeine and nicotine. Very likely.
100%.
I mean, Charles, you know, I used to, when I was still living in Bavaria, I used to sit with my cousin. We were sitting there for 2 hours, maybe talking 2 sentences, smoking a Partagas number 5 or number 6.
There's nothing better than having that first cigarette in the morning.
Yeah, he would drink a coffee. I would drink a cognac.
Oh my god!
You don't need to talk. You know, like women don't understand this. Like you can sit there and you can enjoy each other without saying any word. That's awesome. You know, like and we understand each other. And this is the old world. You know, and we are losing that.
I think when you play, there's nothing better than a really intense game of chess when you're smoking some cigarettes and you're having maybe some tea or some coffee. That's the life right there. And the only reason I don't smoke more in America, if I'm honest about it, is that smokers are really discriminated against everywhere you go. So if there was if I could like figure out a way to just be exempted from the no smoking things, I would smoke a lot more.
I can see you sitting in a smoker's jacket with an ascot.
I love that stuff.
And you know, Charles, there are these,
By the way, it's so easy to get laid when you're a smoker too.
Absolutely.
And you just have the cigarettes, and she's like, "Oh, can I have a cigarette?" And then you have a conversation.
Exactly. This is how it works.
Whereas, like when you're in the bar, it's like very awkward to like talk to them.
You know, Charles, when they established in 2007, they established the smoking ban in Bavaria in clubs. You know, and what happened is all the people then go outside, they have a drink, a cigarette, and this is where you actually meet the girls or the women because you can talk with them, and they like, and you see, it's.
Every time I've been into smoking, I've lost like 25 to 30 pounds, and I end up being rail thin, and I end up just like focusing on smoking and relaxing and thinking more. And I do some of my best work. So this notion that it's bad for me, I don't buy it. I think it's a lie.
Charles, I love those.
It does smell terrible.
But look,
this is of course.
Yes, but it's you get used to it. Look at when you go to this footage, the 80s. It's still the 80s. This, let's say, cabinet sessions, meetings of the governments. Everyone is smoking. Everyone. It was like, I mean.
Well, I mean, cigars smell good.
Okay.
Shit. Yeah. Like it depends on the cigarette, the quality, how expensive it is. It also depends on the person and how fucking trashy they are. Like I work at a bank and I can tell when someone smokes cheap ass cigarettes and they are just like a low quality human being. Like
I knew Trump was going to win because where I bought my cigarettes, all those people were into Trump. That's like, if I'm honest about it, that's how I knew. And I knew, and people were like, "Oh, you're going to Sheets and you're buying." They're like, "All this, like I'm a fairly fancy man, and the fact that all of these like rednecks were into Trump and smoking cigarettes, and I was like, all right, he's gonna win."
That sounds like better polling than 538, actually.
100%.
Guys, I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, you go to any place where people are lining up to buy smokes, and you just ask them who they're going to vote for, and that'll tell you. And I would just do that every time I went to buy cigarettes, and I don't think there was a single Hillary Clinton smoker that I encountered.
Yeah, these are all the obnoxious people, the holier than thou people. You know, they're
By the
no
way,
fun.
a lot of the union smoking guys that I know, they're all for Joe Biden. So make of that what you will, friends.
And it does look like nicotine actually has long-term cognitive protecting qualities to it.
Who the fuck knows? Life is short anyway. Like, I had a great aunt that lived to be 107 in Oklahoma, and she smoked, she drank, she gambled with her Social Security check.
Oh, same.
And do you know what she said?
Grandmother smoked till she was 90.
You know, she said the secret to her success was? She said being a widow at 49 and not getting remarried and not having to deal with men. And then the other secret to her success was always having dessert. Because she's like, if you're having dessert, you're chilling out, you're having a good night, whatever. That was her attitude about life. And she was a great lady, she was cool.
Charles, when they introduced the smoking ban over here in Europe, you couldn't smoke anywhere in public and not on TV anymore. When our ex-chancellor Helmut Schmidt, you know him, greatest chancellor after Bismarck, he was smoking this menthol cigarettes all the time, and he was 95. He died with 95, I think. And he always said, "Okay, if you want to interview me, I will smoke. If you don't let me smoke, I will not come." And he said, "Fuck that, fuck that fucking law, I will smoke wherever I want to smoke." And this attitude, we are missing that. We are becoming like we are transforming ourselves into simps and cucks, like.
No, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than like a glass of wine with a beautiful woman, having a cigarette by the window after you fucked her. Like, there's nothing better than that. And so I am in favor of that. But unfortunately, America has. And by the way, I think the reason we're fatter as a society is because we smoke a lot less. Like, nobody wants to say that, but it's very obviously true. Because if we smoked a lot more, we wouldn't have as much of an appetite. And we wouldn't eat as much. We wouldn't be fat little fucks,
Yeah, we don't smoke as much, and women don't take as many amphetamines as they used to.
Yeah. And it's a worse country. We used to be a serious country.
Charles, I'm not kidding you, Charles. When America...
I'm not either. I'm being perfectly serious.
I'm also serious. Charles, when America...
I'm kind of afraid that this is recorded.
But it doesn't matter, Charles. It's important. This is important talk here. When America...
This is important.
When America...
Right. This is even more important than
9/11. Absolutely. In the long term, yes.
It's certainly done more harm to the world. Absolutely. Smoking than
Charles, when America lost the propaganda war, when they lost it? When they stopped these Marlboro commercials in the cinemas. And they were awesome. You're sitting there and you see the cowboys, and then their hard man's work, and then they have this...
There's no better way to tell... There's no better way to tell a European or an Arab that you are not like the other Americans than to light up a cigarette. There's actually an even better way, which is to roll a perfectly great cigarette in front of them, because their mind blows up.
Exactly.
It's sort of like a self-detonation.
Yes. You are based American. Wow, you guys still exist.
When did they ban smoking on airplanes?
The late 80s, maybe.
80s? Yeah, I was born in 91, and I don't ever remember cigarettes on airplanes.
They had smoking on airplanes?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, she's calling us old. Oh, fuck you. What's up, Grandpa?
I remember it very briefly at Friendly's restaurants, which I'm sure Charles is aware of up in the Northeast.
I remember that.
You could smoke in Friendly's till I was probably like 7 or 8.
Whatever happened to Friendly's? Quite well. I just remember my childhood they were there, and then I thought about it a few months ago, and they don't exist anymore, do they?
Yeah, they're almost all shuttered. Unfortunately, the young children of New England these days don't even know what a fribble is.
Wow.
Traveling from DC or traveling from the United States to Milan, Italy, as a young person during smoking, there were always a lot of smokers on.
And Charles, controversial take here. A lot of the very, let's say, hardcore, liberal, boss girl, woman kind of types, they would be way more relaxed if they would smoke. They're way more cool, way more chill.
The surest indication that a woman will fuck you is if she's a regular smoker. Because like women who smoke poke, that is 100% true.
Smoking means poking.
Yeah,
but if a man smokes too much, then that might be correlated with limp dick, though. That's an issue.
Oh, that's the other issue. Yeah, that's true. You make a solid.
Women smoking back in like the 30s and 40s was like directly tied to feminism. That was how like Lucky Strike marketed it in their advertising.
Look, the first country to ever argue against smoking in a national way was Nazi Germany. And I think we all know how that turned out. So
exactly. Yeah, but Hitler was also no fun. He was not like cool dude. You want to sit around.
I'm starting to like Hitler.
Well, Charles, wasn't it actually? Didn't King Charles II ban smoking in England, or like the import of tobacco for a little bit?
The most recent king of England, because the lesser King Charles, the new King Charles. In the UK, that other imposter to the throne, he just banned smoking in the UK, or they gave out a statement about banning smoking. And honestly, it's just, what joy is there in the UK other than having a cigarette after having a pint with your boys?
But Charles, isn't all of this just an avoidance of you announcing when you're actually
taking our fags
for president?
Oh, I'm 100% going to run for president. I'm going to run for it. I'm going to run for president on a declassify everything around 9/11 and bring back smoking. Let's just see how fast. This is how I'm going to do it. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to run as a bachelor, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to be like, listen, we tried The Apprentice, now we're trying The Bachelor. This is how it's going to be America.
That's good marketing.
That's my plan.
I'm a heterosexual bachelor.
But Charles, will you put Richard on your ticket as vice president?
No, of course not. I need an old fat woman to help the ticket.
Richard would be Secretary of State.
No, he's going to be Secretary of Keeping It Real. That's what he's going to be Secretary of.
Was it Buchanan who was the bachelor? Do we think James Buchanan was gay?
Of course, he was gay. I don't know. I
don't know. I got to be honest. I haven't done much reading on Buchanan.
He had dudes come over to the White House and sleep with him in his same bed as him. Do you think he's gay? I mean, you tell me. I don't know. I ain't never had a sleepover with another dude in my bed. I don't know. That's a weird thing, man. That's a weird thing. Though, in fairness,
sounds like I need to brush up on my knowledge of Buchanan's personal life.
I think Lincoln also probably sucked a dick or two. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a possibility. I think we need to take it seriously.
Who's that?
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, I thought you were saying Nixon. I'm sorry.
Nixon was for sure. By the way, I think the law is very clear. If you are a closeted person in politics, you get advanced. But also, if you're a flamboyant heterosexual, you also get advanced. So sexual extremists always get advanced in our society.
Yeah, look at George Santos.
Yeah, George Santos. By the way, George Santos' big error.
He's as queer as a $3 bill.
His big error was being an out Republican. The other Republicans had to punish him for that. So that's why
he was able to dress in drag and things like that as they aspired.
The realest thing about him was that he was a drag queen and he wasn't man enough to own it. That's when I knew he was done. If he had just been like, you're goddamn right, I was a drag queen and I was good at it.
It's like when you finally apologize for something, that's when they pile on you. He
would like such a thing,
Well, many such
one of my
cases.
friends has this theory that the real story about George Santos is that he's lying about even being gay, but he's actually just like a pure sociopath, and everything is just a lie to him. I think
it's incredible.
I just can't bring myself to dislike the man.
I'm gonna miss him. He's gonna make somebody very happy in prison. That's what he's gonna do. It's gonna be.
Remember when he was on that space?
It might be Eric Adams.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe.